Ousen just lost the battle, and he's being fled by his only man alive that is so. They're being attacked, they're being stopped. They nearly give up actually, but Akakin arrived to save them. Akakin said that Ohan actually sent him, which made Ousen actually mad. He didn't say anything at first, but he's actually mad. And so yeah, Akakin saved them. Akakin made a way for them, and he actually joked about Ousen having to give him a bigger price because this is not an easy thing to do. And as Akakin thought that Ousen is sulking, he said, "Well, you shouldn't because as long as you're alive, as long as we can get you out there, everything will be okay. The roots will be intact." Ousen snapped back at him and said, "Well, I'm not actually sulking. I'm thinking of ways, typical Ousen. He's all quiet and scheming stuff. I'm not actually sulking. I'm just thinking of ways to restore the army." And yeah, he's thinking about how to restore the army already. So that's how they lost. He lost. All I'm gonna say is like he's mad. He's just mad that Ohan. This is how I feel like he's just mad that Ohan had the audacity to say that. And if he wants to restore the army, I think it's finally time to talk to his son. From afar, Riboku received the message that this is actually happening. Ousen is defeated, Ousen is fleeing. And he was like, he's being too cautious for me. Like, is it just me that thinks that something about Riboku changed? Something about him. He's now being like he's cautious before, but now he's not letting up. Maybe I'm just looking too deep into it. Maybe this is just not happening, but he's like, we need to make sure that we get Osen. We need to make sure that he's actually dead. We get his head and we bring it back because this way we can actually make sure that Kin is not gonna be able to further their ambition of unification, which is actually very logical. Maybe that's just the reason, but Riboku looks to me, in my opinion, that war with Kanki really did something to him. Personally, he was shook that time. He like he became human. You know what I mean? Like he feels human now. He doesn't feel as if he's some sort of genius that can't be defeated. He feels more beatable now than ever. I'm not saying that he got worse, but he's definitely different now. For better or for worse, Reboku is different. Reboku is not the same Reboku. I'm not saying that he's complacent before, but he's definitely not taking this lightly. Because he faced Kanki, he knows that something crazy might still happen. And I'm saying this too, right? Like, I don't believe that he thinks Shin is not as pivotal. I don't believe that. I feel like he's constantly saying that Shin is this. Well, he's not really a threat right now. We can take care of him later. I don't believe that. I feel like he's being denial of him, sort of. I feel like deep down he thinks Shin can change this thing. I'm not saying he would and he could. I feel like he believes that he's afraid of Shin more than he says he is. Uh, Maybe this is just cope, but yeah, that's what I think about Reboku. Plus, because he's not really moved at all from this spot. I feel like he's getting the praises, and he deserves so because he executed this plan. He executed his prepped perfectly. He deserves the praises, but I feel like he dedicated himself on solely isolating Shin, right? And to say that Shin is not that much of a threat is to me kind of what's the word that I'm looking for? Hold on. It's kind of untrue, right? It's not. He doesn't believe that Shin isn't a threat yet. He knows this dude can can go out there if if Shin was with Ousen the entire time, I feel like he might mess around and f things up for the Shah, or even slay what's his face, Shibasho. So he needed to isolate, and you might say, well, this is part of the plan. He's the only one who Shin would pounce on, who Shin would follow, blah blah blah. But like, I think you know to stay here and dedicate himself the way that he did, to be here, to do what he did, to build a fortress just to isolate Shin. I feel like Shin is a X factor of this war. If Shin was on there with Osen, this would have been different. I'm not saying that they would have won, but Shin was definitely the X factor, and kudos to Reboku for removing that X factor. And again, Shin coming back to the battlefield right now could still happen. That does not mean that he could change anything. That does not mean that he could single handedly win the war. But definitely, I think he might still come back and make it to where it's not a total defeat. Or the opposite could happen too. The opposite could happen. It could be, it's just, they're just completely landslide defeat. Totally defeated. No, no ifs, no buts. Um, they're defeated. The king is defeated. Ocean army, excuse me. Uh, so, but all I'm saying is, bottom line, Shin just needs to stop taking L's, man. Ever since he got promoted, continuously taking L's after L's. Like his first conquest was successful. I forgot the name of the city that he conquered, but he just needs to stop taking L's, man. They might take away the general rank. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna even gonna lie, bro. In that marriage with Kyogai, bro, like she might completely back off of that. I'm just kidding, but yeah, I mean, Shin needs to start tightening up, but Shin is pretty pivotal. Robogo is lying when he's saying that yeah, Shin is not yet a problem. Shin is definitely a problem. If somehow Shin managed to come back, he might he might mess around and slaughter a bunch of Seika dudes. And by the way, Shiri is alive actually. Apparently, she got away from the encounter breathing, but she's still on the brink of that, of course. So actually, the last part of the chapter, So was looking on the way of where Shiryu and the other was, and Fude was rounding up dudes. So Shiryu might actually just be dead. The Yotano army, what they actually is aiming to do, not actually all of them, but the Kitari army, I forgot what her army or what her family is or what her clan is named, but they are planning to save Heki, right? They're planning to save Heki, so we will see what's going on with that. Um, but this war is lost, and we will see what's after this. We might see more of Osen's. We might focus more on Osen and the. I would love to see the O family. How they work. How like what's the inside of that. And for the next chapter, I would love to see Shin. What the hell is up with Shin? What happened? I would love to see if he's gonna go back. What's like would be would the Haitian unit be reunited? I would love to see that next chapter, and I believe we will be getting that because there's really no other thing to get into. I'd give this chapter a solid 6 out of 10. It's a really really good chapter. Not really really good. It's a good chapter.